To the side set on the Sam McKee Memorial broadcast set here at the Meadowlands. It's Hamiltonian week. It has been a busy week, that's for sure. So happy to be joined by my friend and colleague Mike Carter in from Ohio. Are you ready for Hamiltonian weekend?
I am. I drove in this morning. It was, it's always different on Hamiltonian week, right? This is Harness Racing's Kentucky Derby, and it's going to be a big afternoon of racing. Lots of great races, lots of great promotions. And I'll tell you what, after watching some of the eliminations this week, I am fired up and ready to go.
I am fired up and ready to go as well. Like you mentioned, a blockbuster 16 race card. We are live on Facebook and YouTube right now, so we do want to mention, if you're watching us on Facebook, give us a shout out, give us a comment, who you like. If you have any questions, we're going to try and check those on our commercial breaks.
Yep. Yeah, send us your questions, send us your comments. Listen, we love to chat about these races, but we really want to hear what you have to say. Tell us who you like. I know you and I have been talking all day. We don't necessarily like the favorite so much. I think we've got some long shot horses that legitimately have a shot.
Yeah, I was talking with a few people earlier on in the day and even in the week, there were a couple horses that stood out in each elimination, but no one really overwhelming favorite.
Yeah, it was interesting kind of how both of them played out. Of course, Ron Burke took both of the eliminations. It's hard to believe that Ron Burke, while he crossed the finish line first with What the Hill, has never won the Hamiltonian. So he's going to have what many people consider to be the favorite going into the Hamiltonian, but I don't think you're going to have a 2-5 or 3-5 shot going in at all. This is going to be a wide open affair. I'm looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it as well. And Yannick is looking for his first Hamiltonian as well. So he swept both eliminations with trainer Ron Burke. And just to really quickly go over the fillies, the Hamiltonian Oaks, we had a big upset. And then Walner Payton didn't take as much money as I thought she would. So she was a little bit of an upset, but I still thought she was a deservingly winner as well.
Yeah, I got to see Walner Payton in a stakes race over at Yonkers a few weeks back, and boy, I'll tell you what, she was razor sharp. While she didn't win that night, she did race very well. So looking forward to seeing the fillies as well. Yannick Gingras had a lot of success in the Hamiltonian Oaks, so who knows, maybe he'll pop up with something there.
Yeah, he has had a lot of success, and like I said, interesting to see. I think both races, both 10-horse fields are completely wide open.
Yeah, both 10-horse fields completely wide open, and that creates really good value for the bettors, right? We're going to talk about the wagering menu here in just a little bit. It creates a lot of really good value. Obviously, we want to see some of the short price favorites win. You see those like Sylvia Hanover early in the program. Only a field of 5, and it's going to be great to see her. But it's going to be fun to watch some of those longer shots kind of hit the board as well. All
right, we're going to dive into elimination number 1, and it was quite the elimination here. So we're going to take a look. We're going to roll it in beginning at the beginning of the race, and we're going to hear the stretch call. And when we come back, we'll dissect it a little bit.
Three-year-olds are often trotting. Point of Perfect shoots out with Kierkegaard. All well, the favorite from the inside leaves alertly into the first turn. Southwind Coors is left 3 deep there. Little Expensive is third. Southwind Coors and Kill Mister now 3 wide and driving from 5th. And going on a break was Kierkegaard. Kierkegaard broke Osceola. Now being passed on the outside by Gaines Hanover at the rear of the field. We find Ghostly Casper another 3 lengths to G-Mall, and Kierkegaard was that first turn breaker, 27-1 across the backstretch. Little Expensive at 36-1 with Andy Miller paving the way here. Point of Perfect in the perfect spot. A 2-hole ride for him. All well tracking third out of second. Point of Perfect, repeat minded tonight, takes the lead. Kill Mister tightens in from 4th past the half. Then it's Southwind Coors 5th on the inside, followed by Gaines Hanover. Another length back to Osceola. 3 more to Ghostly Casper, followed by G-Mall and the distant trailer Kierkegaard. K 54-4 for the half mile now. Point of Perfect in front. All well makes his move on the outside. All well for Tetrick now second and threatening. At 3/4, Little Expensive third on the inside. That's Southwind Coors 4th on the outside and gaining with Kill Mister 5th on the inside. Kill Mister stride for stride, and they turn for home. 3/4, 1:23. They're into the stretch. First Hamiltonian elimination. It's Point of Perfect on the inside. Oh well on the outside, trying to steamroll past, but Point of Perfect has more. Point of Perfect and Oh well on the outside coming at him. Little Expensive trying to hold on to third, then Southwind Coors to the wire. Point of Perfect digging in. Point of Perfect, then Oh well, then close there. Osceola with Ghostly, Casper, and Southwind Coors 151 and 2.
There you have it, elimination number one, an upset at that with Point of Perfect. And there's so many different points and horses I really want to dissect and talk about. Oh Well was the overwhelming 3-5 favorite in there. I thought it was interesting. He had to come first over after Point of Perfect retook to the lead. I talked to Marcus earlier on in the week, and he's quick, but he can't hold his speed for that long. So I thought it was a very good effort. You had mentioned a few other things you had saw in there, as well as Osceola. I do want to talk about him as well. So what did you see?
Yeah, you know, it's the second $1 million race that Owell has been in, and let's face facts. There's not a many $1 million races, right? He won the Mohawk Million last year. He enters Saturday's Hambletonian as one of the horses to beat. He raced extremely well in this elimination. Seemed a little bit leg weary there in the stretch, but he kept on digging in towards Point of Perfect. And Marcus Melinder said he was a really big horse last year, and it's tough for them to be that big at 2. He's really filled out this year, so he's really happy with him.
And also, Southwind Coors had a chance to catch up with Matt Bax earlier today, and he thought maybe shipping that colt down took a little bit out of him going into the elimination. He's been up at Mark Ford's farm. It's only going to be an hour ship. He's going to be in retention. He'll have time to settle down. It was hotter last week than it has been this week, and you think racing in back-to-back weeks, he'll be even better going into the final.
Yeah, and the trip wasn't really that great for him. I mean, he got caught 3 wide around the first turn. Luckily, he found a hole and was flush and cover at 5/8. And while he didn't really advance on the leaders, he still raced very, very well considering. I mean, he was only beat a length and a quarter after they set some pretty honest fractions. His only win at 2 came against non-winners 1 Condition Company. And you're in the horse game, maturing from 2 to 3. Normally you see a little bit of a step up. You see a big step up with this one.
He did mention that the horse was a bit green last year. Mike Saftik did a very nice job teaching him how to race. And even when he said going to winning the Good Times final, he was more looking at the crowd than he was paying attention to getting across the wire first. A Point of Perfect ended up going a solid mile on the front end, 151 and 2. He'll pick up David Miller this week. Yannick does opt for Celebrity Bambino. Over 15 last year this guy was. Now he's won, 3 of his last 4. They tinkered with some equipment in his mouth, and he's been a whole new horse since.
Yeah, he's gotten much better, as you said, since those New Jersey Sire Stakes races. I'm interested to see what Point of Perfect and Yannick Gingras, and David Miller are going to do coming up in the Hambletonian on Saturday. I saw how strongly he left off the wings. He's definitely going to be one of the speed horses into the mix early. And like you said, over 15 at 2, and has come back to win 3 of 7 this year.
All right, we're going to take a look at the second elimination where we see Celebrity Bambino and Yannick Gingras. We'll roll that in right now.
And they're off and trotting Celebrity Bambino out of there fast with Up Your Deo and French Wine. Those 3 together with Tuscan Prince on the inside 4th. Crown got away in 5th position as they round the first turn. Tactical Approach going up on the outside. 3 wide. Winner's Bet roughed up early and working hard. Excalibur B is next, followed by Air Powers next to last at this point. 100 Poof is the trailer at the opening quarter. Celebrity Bambino takes the lead with Yannick Gingras. 27 and 4 and is clear by 2.5. Celebrity Bambino paves the way. French Wine on the inside 2nd. Winner's Bet, a tough trip, parked on the outside 3rd now. Off Your Deo is 4th on the inside, pinned in for now. Tactical Approach is 2nd over in 5th. Tuscan Prince on the inside 6th. Excalibur B 7th on the outside. Getting underway is Air Power from the rear of the field. Then comes Crown and 100 Poof. 55 and 3 for the half. It's Celebrity Bambino, the target as they race onto the far turn. Tough trip here for Winner's Bet on the outside 2nd. French Wine, a perfect trip but locked in the box for now. Tactical Approach 2nd overall set to come 3 deep. Up Your Deo pinned in 5th right now as they get set to pass 3/4. Then it's Excalibur B's 3rd over. Celebrity Bambino just took off by 3 lengths on French Wine. 123 and 3. It's Celebrity Bambino, the one to reel in. Gingras urging him on. French Wine, Up Your Deo with late trot on the inside. Then Winner's Bet. Traffic for Tuscan Prince through the stretch to the wire. Celebrity Bambino, Yannick Gingras and Ron Burke sweep the eliminations. Celebrity Bambino, then French Wine. Then it was Tactical Approach followed by Winner's Bet.
A new lifetime mark for Celebrity Bambino, 150-4. And like Ken Workington said, he really took off in the stretch.
Yeah, and when Yannick was interviewed in the winner's circle, when they asked him who he might pick, he said one word, Bambino. So clearly he thinks that Celebrity Bambino is the best horse in the field. I mean, he left strongly, and both of the Burke trainees left strongly, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do here. Who's going to have the lead? We'll see.
You know, Yannick and the connections, Ronnie and the rest of them were very confident in this colt last year. He got sick around this time. He finished the season very strongly, just be, you know, a little bit there in the Breeders' Crown. Finally, he's come back great at the age of 3. A couple of horses in there worth noting as well. Tactical Approach, Winner's Bet. Neither one of them ever saw the rail. A Winner's Bet had post 10. He gets a better post to work with in the final. That'll be post 4. Tactical Approach fortunately had post 8 in the elimination. Now has post 10 in the final, but he still kept coming every step of the way.
Yeah, both of them really raced extremely well, and Tactical Approach, like you said, kept coming and coming and coming. Now he's won 2 legs of the Kentucky Championship Series at 2. He is a solid contender in just about every start and always seems to be around for trainer Nancy Tactor. Clearly, the son of Tactical Landing is in good form.
French Wine for Team Orange Crush has been racing pretty good this season. 1 win from 6 starts. I thought that was a very, very good elimination. It maybe flew under the radar. I mean, went up at 32-1, stretched out the leader there and then set the pocket.
Yeah, one thing to note about French Wine that you're not going to see in the charted line, French Wine actually had the lead momentarily before the quarter, before being overtaken by Celebrity Bambino. So the fact that Andy Miller was able to get him on the lead, and it doesn't really show it on paper unless you watch the replay, definitely something worth noting.
And Uppier Deo in that elimination finished 5th, had a month off in between the Yonkers Trot and that Hamiltonian elimination. Think he'll be better coming into the final?
You know, I have a special place for Uppier Deo, having called the Yonkers Trot, but Okas Fonstead said, I expected more from him in the elimination, and he wasn't satisfied by that race. So I'm anxious to see what they do maybe differently going into the final. He's hoping that he can be sharp with just that week between races.
The early morning line favorite is going to be the elimination winner, Celebrity Bambino. He's listed at 2-1. The field of 10 for the 98th edition of the Hamiltonian is there right in front of you. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we return, we're going to key up the Hamiltonian Oaks and give the fillies a little bit of attention.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Allarage Farms, more than 3 decades of trend-setting and modern trotting. The birthplace of millionaires such as Fern, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line. Home to prominent broodmares such as Ice Attraction, Lucky Ava, Non-Stick, Cena, and world champion Perfect Alliance. Check out their lineup of 19 yearlings by sires such as Chimpanzee, Green Chew, The Great Six-Pack, and Chapter 7, selling this fall in Lexington, Kentucky. Find them all at allaragefarm.com on Facebook and Instagram.
Master harness racing with the power of DRF Harness. It's a must for every standard-bred player. Read fresh stories from award-winning writers like Jay Bergman, Derek Givner, and more. Raise your game with best-in-class harness IPPs and analysis from top tracks. Visit drf.com/harness to sign up for the free DRF Harness Digest newsletter and get informed today.
Welcome back to the side set at the Meadowlands. It's time to take a look at both of the eliminations on the Hambletonian Oak side and dissect those a bit and take a look at the final there. Like I had mentioned earlier in the Open, we had an upset win by Heart on Fire and a solid win there by Walner Payton, who I had mentioned I thought would take more money in the wagering action. She ended up going off at 4-1, paying a decent price. They tinkered with her bridle, but she put up a solid performance.
Yeah, there were some really big efforts. Obviously, Bond was a little bit of a disappointment after setting some really stiff fractions. We're going to take a look at that here in a minute. And Secret Volo from post 9 in the final is actually going to be probably where the value lies for trainer Marcus Melander.
All right, let's take a look at elimination number 1. Walner Payton, Chris Ryder, and Dexter Dunn.
And the fillies are off and trotting. Walner Payton shows first, sticks ahead in front there. Really Something and Mambasita, those three across the track as GG Hanover cuts the corner into 4th into the first turn. Heaven Hanover is 5th, and it's Instagram Model, followed by Wild Jiggy and War We Yes, the trailers. They march past the opening quarter. Really Something being sent to the front by Jingra, but here comes Walner Payton to challenge on the outside. Mambasita is 3rd off a quarter of 27 4/5. GG Hanover gaps a bit in 4th off that turn. Then it's Heaven Hanover 5th on the inside, followed by Instagram Model, Wild Jiggy, and gapped at the back is War We Yes. Across the backstretch, Walner Payton clears the top for Dexter Dunn. So it's Walner Payton now in front, 9-2 on the board, right on the helmet 2nd, Really Something. It's Mambasita tracking 3rd, and GG Hanover is 4th. And Heaven Hanover is 5th, yet to make a move. Instagram Model flushes her out. And then Wild Jiggy and War We Yes. The half up in 55 and 3 onto the far turn they go. Walner Payton by length. Stalked here by Really Something 2nd, Mambasita 3rd. Charging up Heaven Hanover now 3rd on the outside. And Really Something deuce pops right now. Mambasita stride for stride with Heaven Hanover on the outside. She's now 3rd. Instagram Model is 5th and needs to do more as they turn for home. It's Walner Payton 124 and 2, well rated here. Walner Payton Really Something on the outside coming at her. Walner Payton Really Something pours it on. Heaven Hanover with late kick on the outside, and then Mambasita late move from Instagram Model. Walner Payton almost there. Walner Payton holds off Really Something. Then Heaven Hanover, Instagram Model, and Mambasita 151 and 4.
Walner Payton 151 and 4. Another new lifetime mark there for the 3-year-old filly by Walner. Chris Ryder, Dexter Dunn, Ken Jacobs team up there. And I talked to Dexter after the race, and they had tinkered a little bit with her bridle. She'd been racing from off the pace. And she was a little bit of a disappointment beating the favorite last time out in the Tompkins Years right here at the Big M. He wanted to take things under control. He cleared to the front just before the half, and she really looked strong every step of the way.
Yeah, getting to the 3/4 pole, I thought Really Something was going to kind of come and get her, but boy, she was absolutely on fire last Saturday night. And one thing to note about Walner Payton, we talked a little bit off camera, the trip wasn't that great.
No.
I mean, she was 3 wide into the first turn. The fractions were a little bit quick. She really put in a really big effort.
I was able to talk to Chris Ryder earlier this week, the day she trained actually, and she's just so nicely gated. She's nice to handle on the racetrack, and she really can do it any which way. I know some people are afraid of the rail sometimes, especially in these big money races with trotters, but he didn't seem too concerned to have the rail.
Yeah, the rail has been kind of a hit or miss topic over the past couple of days, both with the Hambletonian and the Hambletonian Oaks. So it'll be interesting to see what Dexter Dunn does with this Chris Ryder training, but one thing about it, she's definitely going to be into play.
Oh, absolutely. And I think another horse going to be into play as well is Really Something, a newer acquisition to the Ron Burke barn this year. I really liked her in her Meadowlands debut a couple of weeks ago, and she came a very game first over trip that last quarter of a mile there and dug in every step of the way. Thought the same thing might have happened in the elimination last week, and she couldn't quite get to Walner Payton. She's been putting up solid performances as well.
Yeah, she has, and you really never know how they're going to handle a switch of track surfaces, right? She went from Oak Grove to the Meadows to Pocono, then to Jerez, then to here. She's done well in every start, especially against some Steyr Stakes company, and this was her first real test against Grand Circuit company.
Annie Stobie was the winner with Instagram model last year in the Jim Doherty Memorial. She's going to come back on Hambletonian Day and hope to get a Hambletonian Oaks trophy. Was able to catch up with her this week as well. She was very happy with her filly. Off Lasix for the first time there since putting her on the Lasix program at the age of 3. She's been in the hyperbaric chamber this week. She's acting very well, and she was very happy to see her filly trot home with plenty of trot, the bit in her mouth. She thought maybe the outer flow kind of got hung up there around the last turn, but she still finished well, and post 7 was really no concern for her.
Yeah, when she got stacked up at the half, I think that kind of affected her a little bit. She definitely looked like she wanted to just get up and go, and she advanced on the leaders late and had lots of trot under minimal urging. So I like her chances coming up on Saturday.
And Marcus Melander will send out 3, 8, 9, and 10. We just saw Heaven Hanover in that elimination. She was the one who gave Bond their first upset in quite some time a couple of weeks ago from post 7. Again, I thought she had a game, elimination last week.
One thing to note, check out the mark as a 2-year-old, 156-3. This year, 151-3. Marcus said flat out she just didn't have the speed last year. We just kept her in the Stallion Series and just kind of let her develop. And you're a horsewoman. I mean, how important is it to let them kind of grow up and kind of come into their own?
It is very important to let them grow into themselves, let them mature. A lot of horses, have the baby soreness, long legs, and stuff like that. And speaking of horses who like the Big M, that would be Mambasita. She's loved the Big M. Maybe not as great the last 2 starts. She has only been beaten 3 lengths in each start to finish 5th. She gets post 6. Scotty Z jumped behind her last week for the first time. She's got enough speed to get put in play as well.
Yeah, she's going to have to make up a little bit more ground, obviously, coming up on Saturday, but she was second in the Jim Doherty versus Instagram model at 2. So, Mambasita, at least at 2, showed the ability to be able to take on some of these Grand Circuit type horses. If she continues to grow and go forward, she's got a shot.
Walner Payton, Rayleigh Something, Mambasita, Instagram model, and Heaven Hanover from Elimination 1 head to the final Saturday. We're going to roll in Elimination number 2, and this is where we see an upset. Here's Ken.
Fillies are off and trotting. Righteous Resolves out fast on the outside with the Secret Bolo and Heart on Fire. Bond shoots through on the inside with big time speed, and she's going for the lead like a shot. Quick Stop settles in 5th on the rail. As they continue towards the opening quarter, then it's Pure Hope and Bella Macchiato, and the early trailer is Kay Lee. At the opening quarter, it's a revved up Bond and Oki Svanstead, and right on the helmet is Righteous Resolve. 25-4. Stunning opening quarter from Bond at odds on 1-2. Bond in front. Right on the helmet is Righteous Resolve in that second. Now backs away just a tad. Secret Bolo tracking 3rd. Heart on Fire 4th on the inside. Quick Stop next in line 5th. Then it's Pure Hope 6th, and Bella Macchiato and Kaylee. Bond continues to pave the way and hits the half in a dazzling 53-4. It's Bond in a real hurry tonight. Righteous Resolve with a dreamy 2-hole ride. Secret Bolo tracking 3rd, and Heart on Fire is 4th. And now charging up is Pure Hope on the outside. Pure Hope is tracked by Bella Macchiato. A shuffle to the rear for Quick Stop. She's stride for stride with Kaylee, who gets underway at 3/4. It's Bond. Righteous Resolve looking poised, and Deuce pops right now. Pure Hope on the outside 3rd. 3/4, 1:22-4 into the stretch drive. And it's still Bond in front. Bond, Righteous Resolve back out to take her late shot at her. And here is Secret Bolo down the center, and Heart on Fire surging on the rail. A wild finish coming up. It is Righteous Resolve on the inside. Heart on Fire with the upset over Secret Bolo. And then it was Righteous Resolve and Kay Lee and Pure Hope. Heart on Fire at 36-1.
At 36-1, Ken said it there. And this was another one that was off Lasix for the first time, obviously dismissed by the wagering public. She floated off the weight, got away mid-pack, kind of got shuffled there a bit, and then just really exploded home up the inside.
This was one that was second to Bond in the kindergarten series at 2. So she had showed some promise. She was absolutely dismissed by the bettors, but how about those fractions set by Bond? I mean, Bond just barely held on to be fifth and almost didn't even make the final.
Yeah, and I was going back to last week. I remember Bond here as a 2-year-old. She left off the gate from post 10 in the kindergarten final, I believe it was, swept the field and had the lead before the turn even came up. And it's hard to comprehend that a 2-year-old filly trotter could have done that at the time when you don't even see age pacers do that.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just amazing, incredible speed. I mean, Aki really tried to kind of ration things out, but the half was 53-4. He had some trouble getting her to settle down.
Let's talk about the horse that sat on her back. That's Righteous Resolve from an outside post. She was handled aggressively off the gate. She only had 2 starts going into that elimination. I talked to James before the race. I talked to Matt after the race. They both been very confident in that filly. This is one that danced in all the big dances last year at the age of 2, from the Breeders' Crown and the main stakes up in Woodbine Mohawk Park. Good to see her get over the track surface well and handle those quick fractions in the pocket well.
Yeah, she was an Ontario Sire Stakes champion, the Peaceful Wade champion last year, and as you said, 3rd in the Breeders' Crown to Special Way, and look at that, Walner Payton. So she danced all the big dances. She was hustled off the wings and was able to get to the pocket there before the quarter and kind of just sit on their backs there for trainer Matthew Bax. If the fractions go a little bit differently, who knows? Maybe she's back into it.
I was on the rail at the finish line, and I thought she was going to be the winner of that race. And I almost think that she and the driver had no idea that the horse at the inside was coming as fast as they were.
Yeah, when she came to the outside, I mean, she absolutely just kind of took off. And we talked to Jim Campbell last year with Fashion Schooner, and he lost an elimination just that same way. The horse didn't see a horse coming, and look at that. They end up being second in the elimination. Same thing kind of happened here.
I caught up with Matt Bax earlier this morning, actually, and it was by design that she only had 2 starts going into that elimination race last week. He thinks she'll be even better racing back-to-back weeks, and I think she will too.
Yeah, each start they got to get tighter and tighter, right? The question is, will they be able to handle the ship to the Meadowlands? And shipping from Toronto here, I mean, it's probably, a 5.5, 6 hour drive. So it's one of those things that they just kind of have to get used to. And they've settled in at the Mark IV Training Center. Actually, you got a chance to visit them this morning. So now that they've kind of had a week to kind of settle down, get used to their surroundings, maybe they'll be more relaxed.
And it's been a nice cooler week as well, so hopefully that will help them. 2 final horses out of that race that made it into the final are the 8 and the 9, Kaylee and Secret Volo, both out of the Marcus Melander barn. Post 6 in the elimination for Secret Volo, and I thought she trotted home just as strongly as anybody did.
Yeah, Secret Volo was really sharp in that effort. One of the things Marcus Melander told USTrotting.com earlier this week was it was a fast first quarter, so Brian had to kind of lead with her early. Her hand kind of got played early. She got forced into the race, I think, a little bit earlier than Brian Sears wanted her to. Maybe used her up, and maybe she was a little bit tired late. But the other one who raced extremely well was Kaylee, who came from out of the clouds, I felt like, to be fourth.
She really did, and like I had mentioned, Marcus Melander drew good in the final of the Hambletonian with post 2 with Oh Well, not so great in the Hambletonian Oaks with 8, 9, and 10, Kaylee, Secret Volo, and Heaven Hanover. But again, I think each one of these finals are wide open. I know a lot of people always tend to lean towards the elimination winners in each of these big final races, but still, I still think they're going to be very competitive races.
The late Dave Brower said last year, post 10 was very tough to win from on a daytime card. What did we see in the Hambletonian Oaks last year? Post 10. Marcus Melander 2 years ago in the Breeders' Crown had a horse in post, I believe it was 9 or 10, win a Breeders' Crown. So it's not entirely impossible, that's for sure.
It's a horse race. That's why they call it a horse race. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we return, we have a huge undercard on Hambletonian Day, so we're going to take a look at a few of those races.
Become a member of the United States Trotting Association and take advantage of special benefits including pathway savings, member pricing on American Horse Council publications, and discounts on products and services, and so much more. USTrotting.com is where you'll find entries and results from all the racetracks and get behind-the-scenes stories as the USTA visits farms and stables before major races such as the Hambletonian, Little Brown Jug, and Breeders' Crown. It's easy to join. Fill out the new member form on our website or call our member services department at 877-800-USTA.
On FanDuel Casino, we make it easy to turn your site credit into real money. Unlike other casinos who make you wager your site credit over and over before you can withdraw it, we play fair. Just play through it once and you keep what you win. Turning all your site credit into real cash is that simple. Plus, you'll get paid your way, quickly and securely. Come see why FanDuel Casino promotions give you so much more than other online casinos. Join FanDuel Casino and play it again with up to $1,000 back if you're down on your first day.
The greatest day in harness racing happens Saturday, August 5th at the Meadowlands racetrack. Over $3.2 million in stakes races, including the top 3-year-old filly trotters and colt trotters in the $500,000 Hambletonian Oaks and the $1 million Hambletonian. Fans can enjoy the hat giveaway, live music by the Craig Saylor Project, carnival rides and games, food trucks, pony rides, and more. Doors open at 10 a.m. with first race at 12 noon. Details at playmeadowlands.com. Must be 18 plus to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, we are back on the side set at the Meadowlands. Just gotten alongside Michael Carter, and we just talked about the Hambletonian final, the Hambletonian Oaks final, but we have an action-packed undercard as well. So we're going to dive right into it, and the action starts in race 2 with the stakes, and that is the Shady Daisy. It is a short field of 5. And I think they're all afraid of Sylvia Hanover. One
of the things you don't see on a regular basis is a morning line of 1 to 9. And Sylvia Hanover, well deserving of that. You've got Beach Cowgirl, Bellissima Hanover, Caviar Davia, and of course Front Page Story to take her on. But the story of the day may just be Sylvia Hanover.
Every time I watch that filly hit the racetrack, I feel like my jaw drops. When she came here and made her, North America debut in the U.S. a couple weeks ago in the Mistletoe Chalet, park past the quarter, park past the half, park past the 3/4. She was circled up 3 wide there before she was covered up again. She swelled up, pace someone 26-2, and was able to beat Twin Bee for Joe Fresh again last week. Thought maybe she was a little bit too far away from Zanata there, and she closed in 26 at the end of it. She went back-to-back 26 quarters. Just put up another big performance.
Yeah, her and driver
Bob McClure.
Bob McClure. I was going to say Doug McNair, but they're both from Canada. Let's go there. But Bob McClure did an excellent job, and Bob McClure has actually won on the big stage here. He upset with Forbidden Trade a couple of years ago in the Hambletonian.
And of course, he will have a few other horses in on the card, but Sylvia Hanover is definitely, I think, on her track to, or, getting the campaign of Horse of the Year.
I have a big heart for the fillies and Horse of the Year. A few years ago, I was a strong proponent for Test of Faith. I know there were a lot of naysayers that said, yeah, she shouldn't have been Horse of the Year. No, 100% Horse of the Year. If Sylvia Hanover continues to do what she's doing, she should absolutely be Horse of the Year.
On we roll to race number 3 on the fillies, but we're switching to the trot. It's the John Steele Memorial. We have a field of 6 in here. Jiggy Jog, the beaten favorite in the Hambletonian Maturity.
Yeah, Eminem's Dream actually draws inside of her for post 2 with David Miller aboard. You've got last year's Hambletonian Oaks champion in here in Fashion Schooner as well.
Yeah, I actually liked Fashion Schooner last week in against Eminem's Dream and Warby Xenia. When she can roll off the gate and get, just let her kind of get out there on the right foot, she's hard to beat on the front end.
Yeah, and of course you're going to have those closers in there as well with Warby Xenia, but you're right about Fashion Scooter. She just takes off, and she's got like a burst of energy that's really something special to see, and it's, it's something to watch. She's going to be on the lead, or near it anyway, from post 1.
And MM's Dream, of course, she was the one who upset Jiggy Jog in the Hambletonian Maturity. She sat the pocket after leaving from an outside post, and she didn't care it was a mile in an 8th race. I think she liked that extra 1/8 of a mile there to get to Jiggy Jog. She always seems to fight that last 1/4 of a mile as well.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that the gamblers knew what to do with Eminem's Dream kind of going into the stake season, right? She'd been facing open company out at Harris Hoosier Park. She shipped up to Woodbine Mohawk Park and just wasn't that great in a pair of stakes up there. Came here to the Miss Versatility. Check that out. Won by 6.5 lengths. She gets over this racetrack very well, and if you get anywhere close to 7-2, you should absolutely light up on that.
She was 12 from 13 last year, Indiana Horse of the Year, I believe, and trainer Ron Burke said in a post-race interview after the Hambletonian Maturity, she gives me Hannelore Hanover vibes, which is high praises for any sort of filly trotter. So race number 3 is the Dr. John R. Steele Memorial for those open mare trotters. Race number 7 is the Lady Liberty, and we are on the pace now for the older pacing mares, and this is one of my favorite divisions this year with Grace Hill, Max Contract, Test of Faith, Silver Label, Michaela. I'm gonna be out of breath naming all the horses that have been putting up some tough miles.
Yeah, there's been some solid contenders in here, and it's really nice to see Test of Faith kind of rebound after that 13-day layoff in that qualifier, getting up by a nose in 149-1 against, check who was second, By the Missile. So that was a solid qualifier. Clearly, trainer Brett Pelling and the connections were getting her ready for this race and wanted to give her a real test.
And Grace Hill had faced 2 losses in a row right here at the Big M, one in the Perfect Sting, one in the Dorothy Houghton. She went back home to Ohio in the Cleopatra Invitational there. She had to fight for it in 48-4 and home 27-1, but she was able to get her nose across the wire there. Kobe's GG has the option to follow her off of the rail from post 11. That was the one she got beat a nose by, was Grace Hill. And this horse deserves a big win. She's been racing very well. She's run into trouble trips, trailing positions, outside posts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if she gets to follow either Grace Hill, Max Contract, or Test of Fate.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Post 11. I love it personally. Post 11 here, you get to follow inside speed. And, how many times, Jess, you work here, how many times have we seen Post 11 hit the ticket, get a victory? So Kobe's GG could very well set up into a good spot here to be able to follow, like you said, some of the speed horses inside. Grace Hill, how about those Ohio horses? I mean, come on, they're really starting to shape up and take on some of the top companies here on the East Coast.
Speaking of Post 11, Silver Label draws Post 4 in here. If you go back 3 starts in the Perfect Sting, Scotty Z followed Grace Hill out of there, was able to tuck in. Grace Hill moved to the front, and then he came a game first over Journey for a long time to not only wear Grace Hill down, but he ended up drawing away by 3 lengths to win in 49, and she still paced him in 25-3.
That was an amazing
mile.
You sort of you have to go back and watch it to really appreciate how good Silver Label was. Obviously was 3rd in the Dorothy Houghton, tried to go to the lead and try some different tactics back on July the 15th. But that win up at Woodbine Mohawk Park back on July 28th, she's got her confidence back for trainer Nick Bellucci, and I'm interested to see what she does here.
And Michaela will look to make it 3 in a row. She was interfered with here in the Perfect Sting, and I thought she was pacing him strongly in that race to get a piece of it. Had an outside post in the Dorothy Houghton, never saw the rail. She paced in 47-4, came back in the Clara Barton, and was strong again.
Yeah, the connections gave her a couple of weeks off after that effort in the Perfect Sting for good reason, obviously. Being interfered with, you want to make sure that your stars are in tip-top form, and clearly she is back into form. She's won 2 straight since that effort.
So we are going to flip the page again, and race number 8 will be one of 2 divisions of the Sam McKee Memorial. We have a field of 9 in here, and this is quite the action-packed field of 9 we have.
Yeah, it's a really strong field. A couple of horses that I've seen already this year. Of course, I did it my way up at the Battle of Lake Erie, but some solid contenders. Interesting note here, Ruthless Hanover gets post 9 to the outside. The lukewarm morning line favorite at 5-2.
And it'll be interesting to see because we know this guy has plenty of gate speed and loves to go as fast and as far as he can. But from post 9, you don't want to burn them out too much.
Yeah, no, you don't want to, they're going to be going some quick fractions. Let's just make that clear. They're probably going to go 26-1, 26 flat. So you don't want to be used so hard in this race that, you set up shop up top and then you've used all your energy. You've got horses like Backstreet Shadow who are really coming back into form finally. It's really nice to see that Travis Alexander has him rocked and ready to go.
And I want to go to Allywag Hanover. You have to go back and watch that replay last weekend. The now-winners of 20,000, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. He was parked, then he tried to put him in for a minute. He was in for a step, then he was out again. He faced him in 26-4, home 48-4. It was a big effort. Obviously, with that miss up at Mohawk, it's good to see him back on the trail. That's why he's making only his 6th start of the season. But back-to-back 4th place finishes weren't too bad.
Yeah, things got a little dicey up at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and you never want to see that ever, let alone a stakes race, but ever. But Allywag Hanover put up some strong numbers and in fact beat Bulldog Hanover at Lexington in a 146 mile last year at the Red Mile. So Alibag Hidover has proven that he can do it in these big races. He can go fast. He's got a lot of tactical speed. And what I like about him is he can close from off the pace. He can go to the lead. He doesn't really have one move, so he can kind of do whatever you ask him to.
Yeah, and he liked last year. He liked to weave in between the traffic. I think he enjoyed that more than anything. I Did It My Way gets the rail to start with, gets a good post position here for him. We saw, you had mentioned you saw him in the Battle of Lake Erie. He finished 4th from an outside post. I thought he closed well in there. He had a win in one of the graduate divisions. He was 4th in the final. You go back in the William Houghton, he really had no chance. He was parked 10th from post 6. And then in the Garrity at Saratoga, he had no chance. I think this horse prefers to be close to the action.
Yeah, and he draws inside. That's got to help, right? You see the last couple of posts that he's been in, post 6, post 8. He really couldn't get but too terribly close, especially at Saratoga. For those of you who don't watch half-mile racing all that much, you know, post 6, 7, and 8 are extremely tough to do anything from. I mean, you know, from racing at Northville Downs. I mean, it's really tough to do it from.
It is, exactly, because then you need the momentum going. You need the bank turns. You need to get off the gate twice as fast as the horses to your inside. So that is Division 1 of 2 of the Sam McKee Memorial. Race number 11 is the John Cashman Memorial. That goes as the open trot. We have a field of 9 in here. The morning line favorites, Venerant, It's Academic. Unfortunate draws for them. I was able to catch up with Marcus Melander earlier on in the week. We've only seen Venerant twice.
Okay.
He's been very good in each one of those starts. He's had a win in the Cutler, and he was 2nd in the Crawford. But holy moly, that qualifier was super sharp.
You know, it's interesting to look at Venerant's lines and go, okay, how is this horse the morning line favorite? And then you go back and kind of look at it and you're like, wow, there were some really impressive efforts. This horse has made over $1 million, has a mark of 150-1 right here at the Meadowlands over a sloppy track. Okay, so when things really kind of all come together for the Marcus Melander trainee, you know, who knows what Venerant could do. And check out the purchase price, only $90,000. That's not bad considering how much Venerant's done for these guys.
But I will say he was purchased last year in November by these new connections for $400,000. So he did cost a pretty penny. When you look at It's Academic, he wasn't able to get one major win last year, but he danced in all the big dances, and his outside posts are continuing into this year as well. But he overcome some big trips, some park trips as well. But he was always there. He always showed up. But this year, it's nice to see he's 5 of 8 on the season.
Yeah, he has not missed the board this season. He's won 3 straight races, including 2 straight stakes races. And he had a little bit of time off in between the Crawford Farms and the Spirit of Massachusetts. We noticed something here. He's had some time off leading up into the Cashman. Maybe this is a horse that just likes his rest. He likes to just be a horse. Maybe he likes to be turned out. And clearly, trainer Ron Burke has him ready and rocking to go here coming up on Saturday.
Aki Spahn said we'll send out 3 Asteroid, Rattle My Cage, Southwind, Tyrion, Asteroid. We were able to catch up with Sarah Spahn said before the Crawford trot here at the Big M on July the 1st. She said, you know, he's not exactly where we want him to be in his training. We qualified him. Think he's going to need a start or 2. He raced very well. He was 4th here. Had an outside post in the Spirit of Massachusetts. Had the lead there for a while and just got beat 1/4 of a length by It's Academic and Rattle My Cage. 3rd start for him now in the U.S., back in the U.S. I should say, and gets a good post to work with.
Yeah, one thing about Asteroid, he seems to be getting better with every start. And one of the things you want to see with horses like this is just continued growth, right? 4th beaten 2 3/4 lengths, then was 3rd, only beaten 1/4 of a length, and actually had the lead turning for home in the Spirit of Massachusetts. Asteroid is getting better with every start, and trainer Otis Fonstead and Dexter Dunn have teamed up before. This is a deadly combination.
And Rattle My Cage goes 1 to his outside. That'll be post 4. Over 4 on the season, but he's been knocking on the door, racing so well.
Finished 2nd by a neck in the Spirit of Massachusetts against It's Academic. This is a solid player. He's made over $100,000 this year, considering he hasn't won a race. 0 for 4 this year, but he's hit the board in all 4 starts. This is going to be another solid player. And of course, Hocus Fonsted's got the 6 Southwind Tyrion as well.
The John Cashman Memorial goes as race number 11. Race number 14 is the Cane Pace, the Glamour Boy division. We have an overflow field of 11 in here. The Meadowlands Pace Champ is back, Confederate, with post 5. Hey, he won the Meadowlands Pace in post 5.
It's the 2nd leg of the Pacing Triple Crown. No Triple Crown this year as Captain Bat Boy is not in the race, but you're right. Confederate won the Meadowlands Pace from post 5. has won, let's see, what is that, 5 of his last 7 starts, and is 4 for 5 this season, with the only defeat coming in the Pepsi North American Cup to It's My Show. And I'll tell you what, Confederate just had so far to come in the Pepsi North America Cup. Not sure that he would have picked up It's My Show. He might have needed a few more feet.
And even in the Meadowlands pace, I mean, he had to come first over from 4th, but he came first over like a cavalry charge and drew away. I've never seen a horse just power away from horses after being first over like that.
Yeah, this is a solid contender, and Tim Tetrick knows how to win in the Glamour Boy division. I believe it was 7 Meadowlands paces that he's won. So listen, he knows how to get these horses to get the best out of them. And you got to think that the Brett Pelling training is going to be just kind of sitting back off the speed. The question really is, Jess, who's leaving? There's not much speed inside. You've got Christchurch from post 7, and then the rest of your speed is, maybe Vukafalis or the second tier Hungry Angel Boy.
It will definitely be interesting. When I was able to catch up with Brett Pelling before the Meadowlands pace, his colt really takes care of himself in between races. He doesn't need to train him very hard or much or at all. So I'm not concerned with a couple of weeks off coming into the race with Confederate. But like you mentioned, there's not much speed to his inside. But what do you do with Christchurch? He's had them since the Meadowlands pace off as well. We know he has plenty of early speed.
Listen, with there not being much speed inside, you have to think that Yannick Gingras is going to be leaving alertly with Christchurch. And here's the thing with Christchurch. Once he gets there to the lead, he's going to have to kind of ration out the speed a little bit. They're not going to be able to go, 26, 53. Things are just, you're going to allow for a horse like Confederate, sitting on your back, by the way, he's taking a lot of air, to just steamroll by. So they're going to have to find a way to, take back and kind of control those fractions a little bit. We'll see what happens.
I'm really excited to see the Brian Brown trainee 7 Colors show up at the Big M for the first time. He was Meadowlands pace eligible, didn't end up coming, but he was super in his Adios elimination. He was super in the Adios final from post 7, and I think it speaks volume. Dexter was listed on Handled Like a Porsche for Chris Ryder, who, that's one of his main accounts, and he opted for 7 Colors here.
Yeah, 7 Colors I got to see back in the MGM Messenger Stakes, and he did not care for the half-mile track at all. Brought him right back to the 5H track in the Adios eliminations, finished 3rd, beating a length and a half, and then raced lights out in the Adios final. One thing about the 3-year-old stakes schedule, Jess, there's a lot of 3-year-old stakes races. I believe I counted 13 straight weeks between eliminations and finals. So Trader Brian Brown's trying to pick his spots, try to do what he's got to do. This is a really good spot for 7 Colors.
It is. The Glamour Boy division, the longevity of the season for those guys, like you had mentioned, maybe 13 weeks in a row between eliminations and finals and picking and choosing your spot. It's really about the management for these 3-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of have to pick and choose your spots. We've seen it how many times on Facebook, on Twitter, people saying, well, why did they pick this race over that race? Why didn't they supplement to this race or that race? You sort of have to pick and choose your spots and find out what's going to be good for your colt, because it is an extremely long season. By the way, the 14 weeks only ends in mid-August.
Yeah.
The Breeders' Crown's in October.
Right, exactly.
You've got a long way to go, but you've got the Little Brown Jug, you've got Lexington. There's so much in between there.
You always need to put your horse first. So the cane pace, the overflow field of 11 will go as race number 14. Race number 15 will round out the stakes races on the card on Saturday, and that will be the 2nd division of the Sam McKee Memorial, and another competitive field. It's a full field of 10 in here. Interesting to see. I really liked Billy Clyde a couple of weeks ago, 48, 26, and 2. Perfect middle pack post. Mark McDonald, 5-1 on the morning line. If I get 5-1, I'll be cashing a ticket, man.
Billy Clyde raced very well against Condition Company. You have to go, his last stake start, you have to go back to the Dave Brower Memorial back on July the 1st. And, he had some braking issues there and in the Mohawk Gold Cup. Whatever trainer Ray Schnittker did, he needs to leave it alone, because clearly he is right back and ready to go. The son of Always Be Mickey, a mark of 147-3 here at the Meadowlands.
He never looked comfortable going to the gate in the Dave Brower Memorial. I was standing in the winner's circle when Mark turned him to go to the gate. He didn't look himself. We saw him here earlier on in the season. We went gate to wire and put up a solid performance in, I think it was 49 and change, first start off the bench. So I didn't like the way he looked going into the race in that Dave Brower Memorial. So they gave him time off, they qualified him. I think he's been much better since coming then. By the Missile, post 10 for this guy, 3 of 4 on the season. He qualified just blind test of faith last week.
Yeah, I have question marks about By the Missile. He qualified well after being scratched out of the Juravinsky. He came up majorly sick in the Juravinsky up in Canada. So obviously trainer Ron Burke, giving him the time off. I mean, that start between May 21st and then right back July 7th. So he had about a month and a half off. Came back in the William Houghton Memorial, never saw a pylon.
Never saw a pylon.
Really got just rocked in that race through no fault of their own. And that's part of the issue when you have a horse like By the Missile, who is as good as he is, but is coming off a 6 scratch. His first pari-mutuel outing, he had to go 48, just him, by the way, went 48 in a race that went 47 and 1, and he was parked every step of the mile. So, if he can get a better trip, this $135,000 Lexington selected purchase should absolutely be better for trainer Ron Burke. Post 10 is going to be the difference maker, though, I think.
Tattoo Artist gets the perfect middle pack post for Dexter Dunn, Chris Ryder, post 5. Cut the mile there in that stakes race at Saratoga and the Garrity. Just got beat a neck there by Ideal Some Magic. He's also been putting up a solid stakes campaign this year. I really think the Lasix program is what this horse had missed in that last quarter of a mile.
Yeah, Tattoo Artist made $900,000 last year, has already made over $250,000 this year and $2.1 million in the bank. Has clearly gotten better with every start with the addition of Lasix. The only kind of black mark you see is there in the Dave Brower Memorial, but this is another one that got stung to the first quarter and was parked out through that first quarter of a mile, which, by the way, was 25 and 2. So you really kind of have to throw that race out, and as a gambler and as a handicapper, you have to know when to throw races out. That's one I'm pitching.
All right, I'm going to throw you a long shot in here, and it's going to be Natamary, 20-1 on the morning line. I want you to go back and look at the program page 3 starts ago when David Miller was in the bike here at the Big M, and he scored at the odds of 26-1. I had him on my pick 4 ticket that night because I thought he would take a lot more money. Now I know he hasn't faced, top stakes contenders, but you can't knock the sharpness of a horse who actually likes and enjoys this track surface.
Yeah, Trader Jessica Cusco, her and her husband do a lot of really nice work in the New York Sire Stakes, so it's really nice to see them have one step up and race in the Grand Circuit. Like you said, 20-1, and that start 3 back was ultra impressive. The fact that Natamary gets over this track as well as he does is vital. And one thing to note about Natamary, he's a closer. He likes to come from off the pace, and this is another race where they could mix things up early. There could be a lot of speed in here, kind of dicing it back and forth. And if the fractions are right, Natamary could steamroll home late.
And it was Ruthless Hanover who he got up over that night too, so that's what really stuck out to me. So I just wanted to throw that out. And 20-1 on the morning line. 20-1 would be a nice price to get around race time for that guy in that race.
Typical Dave Brower move. I know where she learned that from. He used to always throw those long shots at us just to see what we'd say.
And I actually did not like when he did that, so I'm sorry about that. But I do like the horse, I'm not going to lie. All right, there you have it. We have an action-packed 16 race card on Saturday. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we return, we're going to tell you all about the wagering format and all the happenings going on here at the Big M.
Recently, the standardbred racing industry was awarded an appropriation from the New Jersey State Legislature, largely due to the efforts of TrotPac, the New Jersey SPOA, our lobbyists, and the Meadowlands. Not guaranteed on an annual basis, we must work to ensure funding receives that approval. TrotPac has established key relationships with political decision makers to ensure that these appropriations will continue to revitalize horse racing in New Jersey. With your support, TrotPac will continue to provide political fundraising for the harness racing industry. For more, visit SPOANJ.com.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Welcome back to the side set at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. Jessica on alongside Mike Carter, and we have an action-packed 16-race card. Of course, we were able to go over the stakes action. We have 2 New Jersey Sire Stake finals on Saturday. We have 2 New Jersey Sire Stake finals on Friday, as well as leg 3 of the Kindergarten Classic on Friday. And we have a $47,000 Pick 6 carryover on Friday, too. So you don't want to miss any of the action at all this weekend.
Yeah, my $7.20 ticket, which is coming, is going to rock everybody, just so we're clear. No, some really nice horses, and you get to see some of the stars of tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to Friday night's card, actually, with some of the 2-year-olds taking center stage.
We actually have plenty going on, not only Saturday, but Friday as well. We have a full 14-race card with special guests on the simulcast show, and we have casino charity night. If you want to be involved in that, you can head to our website and our social media pages and check that out. But we want to make sure you guys are in tune for our wagering action on Saturday. So we're going to pull up a still there. There is plenty of wagering action. We have a Pick 6 to start off the card, a 20-cent Pick 6 races 1 through 6, a $50,000 guaranteed pool. I'll have a Pick 5 ticket on the set races 3 through 7. That's guaranteed at $75,000.
Yeah, then we've got the early Pick 4. Listen, Pick 4s and Pick 5s are kind of a niche bet for some of the gamblers, so it's nice to see that early Pick 4. There's 2 Pick 4s on the card. We'll touch on that in a little bit. 20-cent Survivor Pick 7. I am a huge fan of the Survivor bet. I think it's a great, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Have you ever survived?
I have not survived, but I'll tell you, I like it much better than the jackpot bets because here's the thing, you've got a chance to make a really big score in the Survivor bet, and you may not have to last all 7 legs.
And we have a 10-cent high five in race 7. And races 9 through 12 is the Hambo Oaks and Hambo Pick 4. That'll be guaranteed at $100,000. Races 12 through 15, the Hambletonian will pick that off. That is a $125,000 guaranteed Pick 4 pool. And then, of course, we round out the night, or day, I guess, at this point. Race 16 is a 10-cent high five. Hambletonian Oaks goes as race 10. Hambletonian goes as race 12. Plenty of betting action on the card.
Important note, a lot of mandatory payouts. It's closing day at the Meadowlands, so mandatory pay, everything must go on Hambletonian Day. So, listen, sometimes, maybe you'll get some nice long shots, maybe you'll get a 4 out of 5, who knows?
We saw a lot of long shots on Meadowlands Pace Night, aside from Sylvia Hanover and Confederate. The rest of the races were plenty of upset action where we thought a lot of favorites were going to come in.
Yeah, it was one of those nights where it was really crazy, right? You expect on those big nights, a lot of times what happens is they chalk out, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the favorites tend to win, but on that night, you talk about a bettor's dream, especially if you could pick out a couple of the long shots. If you have a kind of a stickler bet that you really want to, hammer home on, you could be rewarded handsomely.
You could be rewarded very well on Saturday with plenty of wagering action there. We have plenty going on at the Big M. It starts at 10:30 in our Fan Zone tent. Doors open at 10 a.m., but our Fan Zone tent is from 10:30 a.m. to noon, where you can meet the drivers and trainers of past Hambletonians, this Hambletonian, Hambletonian Oaks, and any driver on the card. So there will be hats for you to be able to sign programs. So stop by the Fan Zone tent right outside in the backyard from 10:30 a.m. till noon. And we have a special guest coming on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer will be here from 3 to 4:30 on Hambletonian Day. The Backyard Bar and Faith American Tent, from 1 to 3 p.m., will be available in the Backyard Bar and Faith American Tent. Look at that. It's got some IPA lager. I might be over there with him come Saturday afternoon, but Kelsey Grammer, you can meet him coming up on Saturday.
He will also be presenting the Hambletonian Oaks and Hambletonian Trophy. It'll be great to have him. Of course, he's bringing beer as well. We have our own Hambo beer, Trotter's Gold Golden Ale. We have sitting next to us very good beer with Cool Papa Bell and Todd McCarthy on it, winning from last year. There you go. It is on sale through August 5th. I believe it's $8 a can. It's very yummy.
You're going to laugh. I still have some in my fridge from last year.
Goodness.
So, But Cool Papa Bell beer is very, very good. Trotter's Gold. If you've never had it before, it's definitely worth trying.
We have wine as well on sale from Cool Papa Bell and Fashion Scooter. I believe red and white wine too. So those will be on sale. You can check that out at any bar or waiting staff. We have plenty of Hambo TV coverage coming up on Saturday, August 5th. Gabe Pruitt and myself will be on Fox Sports from 3 to 6 p.m. The Hamiltonian will go at 4:45. We will be bringing you live coverage throughout that 3 to 6 p.m. slot there, talking about the Hamiltonian, some storylines, some upsets in the past, and maybe, who we like. I'm not going to give it up yet, but who we like coming up in the Hamiltonian. So that is from 3 to 6 p.m. The Hamiltonian will go at 4:45 p.m. Gabe Pruitt and I will be on that. We have our in-house show, of course, and we'll be live on Facebook and YouTube. So you have plenty of ways to watch it. And then CBS.
Yes, we'll have the CBS Sports Network show that will air on Sunday at 2 o'clock and again on Monday at 9 o'clock. Myself, Greg Blanchard, and Emily Gaskin will bring you that coverage. So we're looking forward to that. Lots of great ways to see the race, and I'm really happy to see it on Fox Sports. I mean, it's going to be on a national broadcast. Not that it hasn't been before, but Fox Sports is a really nice elevation for it.
We're really excited about that. Of course, the Whitney will be on there as well, so it'll be a nice way to tie in the thoroughbreds with the standardbreds, harness racing. So really excited about that. There is plenty other action going on. Horseplay will happen on Friday night. That'll be the last horseplay. The car giveaway will be that night. We have the hat contest, the Hambo hat contest. Say that 10 times fast. $1,000 up for grabs in that contest. We had rides, we have games, we have live music, we have hat giveaway. Admission is $5. It does include a hat. Of course, programs will be for sale. Doors open at 10 a.m. First race is noon. I believe our pregame show gets underway at around 11:20 a.m. We have plenty of action coming from everywhere. Jen Otten will be in town with some interviews. We'll have Gabe Pruitt. We'll have special guests on the set, Dave Little and myself. Really looking forward to Saturday.
Gabe Pruitt, do we need to pack a poncho?
I hope he packed a poncho. Every time he comes, it rains.
Every time, it never fails. When he was up helping us out at Northfield, I swear, the lights went out, the starting car broke. So no, we love our man Gabe Pruitt. He'll be in town, and in case anybody's wondering, I'm winning the car. So
you're going to win the car.
I'm going to win the car. So
all right, well there you have it, an action-packed Hamiltonian day. Plenty of wagering, plenty of racing, plenty of activities, family fun for all. We hope to see you here on Saturday, August 5th.